get more people to actually show up to your appointments, get more engagement, overall increase conversion using one specific strategy that I'll walk you through right now that's wildly undervalued, wildly underutilized at the moment, and can make a significant increase. I'm Isaac, and I'm hoping that you're gonna find some value out of this. And so in the end of 2019, me and my team, we went all in on one thing, and it was one-to-one video. And we decided we were going to launch into that in the quarter. We set a really ambitious number that we were going to send out 5,000 one-to-one videos to our clients and the people in our database. And what ended up happening was phenomenal. We ended up starting to get a ton of responses, even from people in open houses. From open houses we had met, 12, 24 months before we started sending them out videos. And we had a very specific script when we were reaching out to people in a soft reach out. And I'll give you that script maybe on a later video, but actually I'll do it at the end of this video, but I want to convey why video works. And so we saw such great results with it. It was really powerful. We started pulling deals out of our database from people that we would have otherwise thought were like cold or dead leads. And we started pulling it out using a specific script. But then we started realizing like, man, video really works. And so what we started testing and then ultimately adopted fully, and we've never turned back, was sending out a video within 2 minutes of speaking to somebody. Right when we get off the phone. So we'd get a call or we'd make a call, and whether we got the appointment or not, we would send out a video. If I just spoke to you, two-way communication, we would send out a video. Now, it really started around booking appointments. We'd get a call with someone, maybe it was a signed call, maybe it was from an online lead source, where we were like, hey, yeah, I'll go ahead and meet you at the property tomorrow at 4. We'd hang up, and what ended up happening was not that many people, like sometimes people would flake out, especially on online lead platforms, right? Because they don't know you. They didn't find you any other way than clicking a button on a website, and they randomly got to you as the agent. And so what ended up happening is they made an appointment with a complete stranger, and so they had no, I guess, any kind of responsibility or didn't owe anybody anything to actually show up. So if anything even slightly convenient came up, or maybe they just went and talked to another agent right after that, they would blow us off. And so what we started realizing is there's got to be a way to get people more engaged after a phone call. One-to-one video absolutely killed the game. So what we started doing is we started sending out videos within 2 minutes of hanging up the phone. And here's why it works so well. I'm going to expose that to you. So the number one complaint that consumers have about real estate agents after a transaction, poor communication. Poor communication. So when I send a video within 2 minutes of speaking to you, I am letting you know that I'm an effective communicator. I have a quick response time and I'm effective. I'm quick on the phone and I deliver a concise message, and I'm fast at it. That's one thing. Now the other piece is this, that the number one complaint people have is my agent was a poor communicator. They didn't communicate enough. They didn't respond quickly. Now the number one thing people say they are looking for in an agent is integrity or trust or honesty, right? Those are kind of the same thing. And what's interesting is it's really hard to build trust in a short amount of time. As a matter of fact, we all know that trust is built over time. And so when we talk about that, what we learn, and when we started studying it and really testing this, here's what we learned. That humans have a short-term stand-in for trust. And that short-term stand-in, until you can actually rely on somebody and you've built trust with somebody, the short-term stand-in is actually relatability. So I'll give you an example. Let's say it's 11 o'clock at night, you're driving through town, you realize you got to get some gas, it's kind of late, a little dark out, no one else is around, and a car pulls up. And the car pulls up and they're exactly the opposite of you. They drive a different kind of car, maybe, they're just somebody that you don't easily relate to. And they get out of the car and they start approaching you. Your level of trust and discomfort is pretty high, generally because they're a stranger. Now, what's interesting is imagine that they drove the same car as you and that they looked very similar to you as far as like, hey, I'm wearing a polo, you're wearing a polo. I'm a pregnant lady, you're a pregnant lady. Like, it's just easier to relate. I have kids in the backseat that are asleep right now. You have kids in the backseat that are asleep or watching TV or whatever on their phones. And you just kind of notice that, right? Like when you're walking in the park, you notice Oh, you have a little kid that you're watching at the park. I have a little kid that I'm watching at the park. You're just more likely to, like, because of that relatability, slightly trust somebody, give them a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt. And here's what happens. When you send a video within 2 minutes, here's what I can almost promise. I can almost promise you're not ready to actually send out a great quality video. The lighting's not perfect, your hair isn't perfect, the wind's not blowing in your hair, your audio's not gonna be perfect. Chances are it's actually gonna be pretty low quality as far as like production goes, but it's gonna be real, it's gonna be authentic, it's going to be relatable. And so here's what happens. When you send a video within 2 minutes of speaking to somebody, you're communicating, hey, I'm an effective communicator and I'm responsive. And you're also communicating some degree of relatability. I'm just like you. My hair isn't perfect. I'm not in a perfect... Now imagine you just got off the phone with somebody and they sent you this like wildly high production video, right? And they're wearing a suit and all this stuff and they're like walking through and cameras are flashing. Now, obviously I'm being facetious, but I am just saying, when you just send out a video right there on the spot, hey Beverly, what's up? It's Isaac. I just wanted to say it was great speaking with you on the phone, and you know, I'm really looking forward to meeting you at the property tomorrow. And you know what, there's some things I'd like to share with you about the property you might not even be able to find online. And so I'm looking forward to seeing you then. Bye, have a great day. And click and send it. Don't rewatch it, just send it. What happened is our show rate went up 40%. Meaning people that we talked to stopped ghosting us because they started trusting us. And they also had a different experience with us versus the last person they may have worked with. And so using one-to-one video, specifically when it comes to online leads, now this works for your sphere, it works for old dried up leads that maybe were from an open house, but it certainly works for online lead conversion. It's massively helpful. And so be an effective communicator and create relatability by sending that video out quickly because the conditions aren't perfect. Get over yourself, don't rewatch it, just send it out and you'll see it has immense power. So if you got any value, hopefully you got a ton of value out of this video, and if there's anything I can ever do to help you sell more real estate, feel encouraged to reach out.